Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to a new year, a new decade, and another amazing chapter in all of our lives. And I'm really excited because this year is going to be the year of ever after for me, where one of the biggest and most important events of my entire life will be happening as I have the opportunity to marry my best friend, the love of my life, my fiance, Chips. And I still haven't gotten over that. It's not even been a month since he proposed, so I guess that's okay that I'm still like completely flabbergasted and flummoxed and excited. And I still can't believe that is happening. But that's kind of how I feel about this whole upcoming year. I can't believe all of these things are going to be happening. And I realized I just haven't had a chance to talk with you guys and catch you up on what has happened over the year of 2019 and what an immensely challenging and really exciting year it has been, let alone give you guys hints of what's coming up for 2020. And I miss that. I miss that way too much. So I need to yank y'all in and have you hang out with me in the greenery for a minute, and I want to give you guys some updates. I want to tell you about how last year was one of the busiest, longest, and yet most adventurous years that Chips and I have had. And yeah, it would be Chips and I, because pretty much everywhere we go we're together, and everything we do together. And that included a whole bunch of really fun adventures, like going into the mountains of North Carolina and falling in love with all of the beautiful greenery and the birdsong all over again. And that also includes doing really huge adventures, like being invited to San Diego by Planet Zoo and having the opportunity to go to the San Diego Zoo. I fed giraffes so many times this last year. And actually, I even had the opportunity to adopt a giraffe through the Giraffe Conservation Foundation, thanks to a Christmas gift that was given to me. And I'm really excited to talk to you guys more about Wendy, the giraffe that has been adopted as one of what I hope will be the first of many in the tower of giraffes that I hope we will be able to help in real life as a community together in the future. So I'm really excited about that. Oh wow, I mean, Chips and I moved from Michigan, where on our drive with all of our stuff in the car, we drove past the most adorable groundhog who was just eating plants on the side of the road that for some reason I've never had a chance to really show you guys. Oh my gosh. On the side of the road while we're at intersection, there's a little groundhog. Look at him. He's like, I have got business here, ma'am. I have food to eat. Thank you very much. Why, hello, little Ohio groundhog. Oh my gosh, you're precious. This is so funny. This is like the best I've ever seen a groundhog up close. Look at his teeth. I've never even seen their little teethies like that before. And there's just all sorts of little adventures like that that have gone on over the year of 2019, including a lot of deeper and more challenging things, like my mother becoming very sick and having multiple heart attacks and kidney failure, and somehow still making it through because she's amazingly resilient. And then some of our family members actually developing cancer and learning what life looks like when you love someone who is going through that, and how it changes everything in ways you didn't expect. And then the challenge of the most stressful move ever. There have been some extremely amazing ups with the adventures and some really challenging moments that Chips and I were just talking about, and really grateful we actually went through together, that shaped this last year to be one of the most transformational of my entire life. And somehow in all of that and all of the things we had going on, we still managed to grow as a community by another 70,000 people. What? We are so close to 400,000 members of our community, and every time I really felt overwhelmed over the last year or uncertain about how my identity has been shifting with myself, because you know that happens as you grow and as you experience new things and you're like, what do I like, what do I not like, and what do I want to really identify myself as, and what do I want to love, and what do I want to put my time in. And it was just really amazing that there was just this constant, the two big constants in my life, or I should say the three big constants. I love chips, I love storytelling, and I love you guys, and I love the community we've built. So thank you very much for helping to grow this community to over 370,000 people, which is really humbling for a shy introvert like myself to think about, but also really humbling to think that there are that many other people out there in the world who share some of the passion for nature and greenery and storytelling and the adventures we've been on. And so we're not alone in those things, guys, even if it can feel like we are sometimes. I draw a lot of strength and a lot of support through some of my hardest moments of my life, reflecting on how big our community is and thinking about how sometimes I feel really like, oh, just the silly little derpy Seri who really loves birds, and she'll hug a tree and I'll stop for every mushroom to take a picture of it. And don't even get me started on talking about cool facts about giraffe tongues, because I could go on for quite a while about that. But I'm not alone in that. Even though it feels like a really niche thing to be passionate about, and even though you can kind of be like the one everybody sort of awkwardly looks at during the dinner conversations as you launch into another explanation about the smooth shape of koalas' brains, it's really fun to know that I'm not alone in that. And yeah, maybe I shouldn't be sharing like the shape of koala brains or, you know, the shape of wombat poop at every dinner I have with people, but I can share it with you guys and you'll get how cool it is. So I'm really humbled that with everything we had happen over the last year, our community still had a chance to grow too. And I did put in a lot of work, and our adventures have also grown to a library of over 8,000 videos. 8,000! Oh my gosh, and we have passed our anniversary. So we are now officially a 7-year-old channel. So for the last 7 years and 8,000 adventures, 8,000 episodes, we have built up what we have now. And I thought that that was just amazing. And I wanted to share that with you guys, because the beginning of a new year is a great time to think about the transformations you want to see in your own life. It's a fantastic time to think about who you want to be, to reflect on what you've been doing, what's been working for you, what hasn't been working. You set goals. If you're like me, you set like 1,000,000 goals down a list a mile long. I'm working on getting better about not doing that so intensely. And it can feel really overwhelming. And I haven't done the video yet, but I wanted to let you guys know that I do plan on making the most serious video I've ever made, reflecting on the last decade, because it has been the end of a decade. And 10 years ago, I was 21 years old, I was deeply in student loan debt, I was extremely isolated in a very bad relationship, and I hadn't left my parents' basement in 2 years. Yeah, it was pretty bad. And 10 years later, here we are. And we are celebrating 8,000 adventures, hundreds of thousands of people who share the passions that we have, the ones that many of us thought marked us as outsiders and marked us as weird and made us feel alone in our passion. And I've also had the opportunity to feed giraffes. I've had the opportunity to look at puffins in Iceland. I've had the wonderful opportunity to meet so many of you guys in so many ways, through your letters and emails, through the conversations with our patrons on Discord, through chats, through comments, and it's been amazing to build this life in this world, and it's taken some time. So if you're starting something this year, if you really feel like there's a pull to become someone new, a new identity that you really want to own up to, I also wanted to say I am so happy, and I'm getting ready to step into this next decade and this next year to celebrate my happily ever after with the love of my life, who I met in the last 10 years. And I wanted to reassure you guys to hang in there. And I feel like I'm living an amazing, beautiful fairy tale life with all of its challenges and all of its ups and downs right now. But it did take 7 years and 8,000 episodes to be able to build this up. So I hope you too, for whatever goal, for whatever thing that you really, really, really feel is the calling of your heart, whatever that is, I hope you don't give up. And I hope you don't give up after the first one. I hope you don't give up after the 20th, like 20th, the 12th. I hope you don't, I'm mixing up the numbers. Don't mind me, number dysplasia, it happens. I hope you don't give up after the 100th. And I hope you don't give up after the 1000th, or the 2000th, or in my case, the 8000th. And I hope you find whatever it is that can make you resolved enough and passionate enough and determined enough and stubborn enough. A lot of people forget that stubbornness, persistence, and being willing to adapt yourself to whatever the challenges that you're facing are skills that are needed. It's not just passion to do the things you love, it's all those other things too. Whatever it is that can give you that much of that inner motivation, I hope that you can achieve it. After the first one, the 12th, the 100th, the 1000th, the 8000th, and I hope you can keep going and find the journey a fulfilling and beautiful one. And I just wanted to say that because I feel like it's really important. I feel like I am celebrating today because I'm looking back on the last 10 years and I'm seeing myself having been in a dark place that, as I mentioned, I will be making a serious video really speaking much more openly about those times than I ever have, because I want to speak to the me who may be in some of you in those places, and I want to show 10 years difference, a transformation not only of myself but of my life, my way of thinking, my way of living, the way I see the world. And I want to give you guys a little bit of the joy and a little bit of the happiness that I really feel like is just abundant around me right now for the year 2020. For my year of happily ever after. And I wanted to let you guys know a little bit of what to expect out of this year too, because I know I've been really quiet lately. But as I mentioned, we do have a lot of family members who have become quite sick, and Chips has been really great about reminding me the last few months how I will never regret spending more time with them. I used to be really, really scared that if I stepped away from YouTube and I stepped away from you guys for a little bit, if I let myself get caught up in being busy with helping family or busy just with being with family and enjoying time with them when it isn't pressured by all kinds of illnesses or external drama, it could just be a nice afternoon sipping tea and listening to music together and reading books together. It could just be another walk with Chips. I've gotten better about appreciating those things. And I want to get better about sharing more about what goes on in my life so you can see some of the motivation behind all of the adventures that we also share in the storytelling and games that we play here. So I'm hoping that will come up because this year is going to be a pretty amazing one. This year, Chips and I are getting married. As I mentioned, it's looking like we'll be doing that in April, so expect me to be completely distracted, a bit in a tizzy. Maybe there's some fun games we could play with a theme around that coming up. That would be really fun too. And then we're kind of moving to Taiwan for a year. So if you have not heard that news, if that has somehow escaped you as well, in the last year, my beloved Chips actually did manage to defend his thesis for his PhD, which means that now he gets to write for the next 3 years a gigantic book to turn in to make him a doctor. He shall transform into a historian doctor, which I think is really cool. And because he studies Chinese history, that means that we will be popping ourselves back over to Taiwan again, this time not for 3 months like we did a couple years ago with you guys in tow, but for a whole year or more. So we are going to potentially, if everything lines up in the next few months, move to Taiwan in the summer and stay there for a year or more, depending on what his research may need, or a little bit less. It's all kind of up in the air. But no matter what, you guys are coming with us. So I wanted to tell you guys that's coming up in this year of ever after. I hope to spend more time with my family. I hope to also spend more time with you guys. I'm really hoping to get our Twitch streaming up again. I'm super excited for the adventures that we have coming up. Animal Crossing: The New Horizons is coming out in March, like a couple days before my birthday, so I'm ridiculously excited about that. We had an update to Stardew Valley, so like immediately some of my favorite games have amazing things happening to them. Who even knows what Sims 4 is going to do this year? Like, I have no idea. And the thing is, I wish I could rattle off game after game and tell you guys like, hey, we have this coming up this year. We have this coming up this year. But a lot of the most amazing adventures that we've shared over the last few months, I didn't even know existed until they released. So I just wanted to reassure you guys of a few things as we move forward in 2020. That you're always with me, for one thing. That whenever I really feel like I need a place where I feel I can draw a lot of nourishment and strength from, I think about all of you. I think about how I don't think I've done anything other than meeting Chips more important or transformational with my life than being determined that no matter what happens in my life, no matter how hard things are, or no matter how distracted I could become, coming back and creating adventures to share with all of you has been one of the most transformational things I've ever done. I really hope all of you have some sort of creative outlet like that too. Some sort of thing where you know that you could give out kindness and happiness and a positive voice to the world, because it gives you a kind of strength that filters into everything in your life and can give you strength when you most need it, when you least thought it would help. I don't know how getting through the terror of thinking like, oh, my mom might really pass away today, I don't know how that was so bearable, because I knew all of you would be there if that did happen. Not for condolences, but to help me build a beautiful world afterward through our adventures. I don't know how that helped quite as much as it did, but it did. So all of that to say, I'm rambling a little because it's been a while since I've talked to all of you, that I know 2020 is going to be amazing. I know my goals are going to be to have a wonderful wedding with Chips, which is going to be very exciting. We're basically going to make our own food, and I already have a nice dress that I haven't worn yet in the closet, so we're keeping it simple. I'll also talk more, I really hope, about the things that go on in our personal lives over on the vlog channel, because this last year I sought out a year of peace, and I found it. I found it through minimalism, which I have surprisingly, despite the look of my office, embraced on a very deep level. I found it through really being able to just appreciate the moment, sitting with a cup of tea and my loved ones. And I found it with just appreciating wherever I happen to find myself in the world for its own natural beauty. Those are things I want to share more with you guys on the vlog channel. But here, where we have all of our adventures, I know that we're gonna have at least 1,000 of them. That's my goal this year. Yeah, moving across the world, not the country, the world to Taiwan. Sure, we're gonna keep shooting for that. Every year I try to pile up at least 1,000 more adventures so that hopefully I can get to 10,000 adventures before Chips graduates with his PhD, because I thought that would be pretty nifty. So I don't know what the adventures will be, but I know they will come from the same motivation, the same excitement, the same pixel biology storytelling twist that all of the 8,000 of our other adventures have been. And I hope you guys will look forward to me trying to churn through 1,000 more of them. Some of them potentially being really cool things happening in Taiwan, some of them potentially being me just freaking out about the fact I'm getting married and I'm getting married. And entering a new phase of my life that way, and all of them filled with hopefully some cool facts about the natural world, but also building up the beautiful worlds we've come to enjoy. And gosh, I guess like Taiwan, 1,000 adventures coming up, the year of ever after, and happily ever after, and just wanting to spend more of it with all of you too. It's a pretty good year coming up. It's a really good year coming up. So I hope this kind of just gives you guys a little cheerful Happy New Year. I hope you can hold in there and don't give up for whatever you have decided you want to pursue, whatever it is that motivates you to put that light into your own life and let it shine out into the world. And I also hope it gives you a little bit of a preview of what to expect over 2020. I know I've been really busy the last few months, but I mentioned why. That's why we haven't had our usual weekly update vlogs, and that's why I had to abandon Vlogmas because things got really hectic. But I just wanted to also let you guys know thank you. Thank you. And we have more to go. 8,000 adventures, 7 years. We're just getting started. So happy New Year, everyone. However you are hoping to celebrate, whatever you're hoping for this new year and this new decade, I hope it can bring some real true joy into your life and fill up your joy journals. All right, so it's time for me to start collecting myself and getting ready to prepare a whole bunch of our adventures. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.